CrowdStrike, Spa, 24 hours for 2025 is go. Marvin Kirchhofer floors the throttle. We go racing, and it's the McLaren ahead. The two Mercedes go toe-to-toe for second place. Vincent Abril gets a bit boxed in. Mauro Engel is fifth. Look down from the drone as they flick left, right, up the hill, out of Eau Rouge and through Raidillon for the first time. Really good start by Marvin Kirchhofer, but what can the rest do as they climb the hill? It's a safe start as the field wriggles up Raidillon for the first time. Bit of dust being kicked up in the mid-pack by the BMW from Paradigm there, but it's Kirchhofer who leads. Gounon goes second, side by side for third. Abril round the outside of Gertz with Engel in fifth, and the start is being looked at just to make sure that all was well. Just look what a busy racetrack it is as they hit Licon for the first time.
So far so good. I was surprised Jules Gounon was a bit slow off his toes, but it's actually Maxime Martin has had to slot behind that Ferrari. So now they come into Brussels 2 by 2. This is where it starts to get riskier, being side by side. Your elbows are sharpened, you're trying to get into single file as we go back on board that 96 Rutronic Porsche. Hear that flat six screaming as they go down the hill into Pouhon.
So lap number 1 of racing, lap number 2 of the race with that extra formation lap in the time. And you can see in the sunshine, people desperately trying to find track position. You do not want to get stuck in a battle pack on such a busy racetrack. 7 kilometres long, of course, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, but it's a lap that goes round pretty quickly. One car way wide coming out of Pouhon, looking to try to rejoin. It's the Castle Ferrari, skips back onto the racetrack. The field then now coming up to the exit of Pith Path and down towards Campus for the first time, but a really good first lap from Kirchhofer. Another Garage 59 McLaren out in the gravel, but able to rejoin. Gounon second, Abril third, Gertz, Engel next in the queue. Then you've got a really quick starting Sandy Mitchell in the VSR Lamborghini, and as they come through Blanchimont for the first time, Marvin Kirchhofer it is in the lead, but let's see whether or not he's going to be able to build that gap, or whether or not Jules Gounon can reel him in and have a go back. He's won this event in an Audi, has Gounon. He's won it in a Mercedes AMG. There is Vincent Abril. He was a Sprint Cup winner at Brands Hatch back in May, and he runs third as the cars now come over the timing line to effectively put a racing lap in the book. Was it with the Lamborghini at the chicane? Let's have a look. Cars turn in, and there, yes, the Lambo had already spun, and there was nowhere for Antares Au to go. So unlucky.
Yeah, blinded, wasn't he? So Beretta's turned someone around and then spun himself, I think.
We had the 20-second warning, we've had a 10-second, and actually there's enough debris there to warrant a full course yellow, never mind what we've seen elsewhere on the track.
Oh.
Full course yellow called, and a big moment in the background as the Porsche suddenly had to dive out from behind a slowing car. I think they avoided contact, but Antares Au is fighting this car to get it back to the pit lane. Big drama.
Initially, I thought that was more damage. I think that was the debris that was on the floor getting flicked up as cars diverted left and right. That is the problem, and the problem there for that Corvette. It's not a quick fix, is it? That's heartbreak for them. It's almost day done. There's that piece of debris that needs recovering. A good job by the Marshall. Cars are about to hurtle towards him. Even at 80 kilometers an hour, I wouldn't want to be stood there, so he'll try and get out of the way as quickly as he can. Interestingly, pit entry closed, which indicates to me it's going to be a short full course yellow. Let's have a look at what happens to Beretta. So he was innocent. He's got the 52 Ferrari on his inside. Doesn't know he's there. Turns across, rotates him around 180 degrees, and then Antares Au will come through the shot, completely blinded by that 60 Lamborghini. Nowhere to go, and that's what causes the most damage on that 60 car too.
You can see the Mercedes going left and right, and Antares Au is still coming through the chicane, and just as he starts to straighten up the car, others ahead of him have been lucky, but the Porsche just has nowhere to go. And you think surely he would have seen it because the incident's gone on for so long, but this is super slow-mo, don't forget, so in real time it's just a split second between that car having spun. Look, that Ferrari was oh so close to making contact. The Nordic Mercedes, repaired after a quali crash, gets through, and then another sideways car, and Antares Au has nowhere to go. And when you see that impact, you realise how much damage has been done to the Lamborghini as well.
Action in the background here. That must be one of the Audis that boxed out of position.
Yeah.
And that's Casaniga, isn't it? He's real. Put a grenade in the mix there. He should be getting out of the way. He does finally now, but that really split them. Also, one of the Aston Martins from ComTu in the way.
Yeah, let's have a look, because Engel just about gets through, but here comes Sandy Mitchell up the inside of Mauro Engel. Then the Lamborghini goes for position. Good dive up the inside by Sandy Mitchell, and the very rapid Scotsman, who's based in Nottingham these days, goes fifth at the expense of Mauro Engel.
And this is what I spoke about, the traffic. That's the 4 car. That's really held him up, giving Gounon a chance to get the run down the hill into Brussels.
Tries to find a way through the traffic. There you've got number 4, Ian James, at the wheel of the CrowdStrike Mercedes, a pit lane starter. And Gounon gets sideways there. The back wags as he hustled the car through Brussels. So Kirchhoff are hanging on in there as we get to the end of the first hour of the race. Then they are nose to tail for the race lead. It was 8/10 at the start of the lap, but it is barely 8 lengths right now as they come into P1. And again, look, Gounon closing right up.
There's a problem there. The Ferrari into the box.
Well, you were wondering what had happened to Van Sabril. Rivera got into the car, and it's back in the pits.
On his outlap, he's come straight back in. Going slow. That is an awful place to be on the exit Blanchimont. He needs to get out of the way. That is
big crash. Drama that's been collected by Mercedes. 2 cars, 3 cars involved. And I'm afraid to say that is going to bring out the safety car because there is big damage. The McLaren has been collected. So here we have a look from a different angle from the high camera. Look at the Porsche. Bang. And that just obliterates the back of the McLaren, and so many others scatter. I mean, look, there are wheels being ripped off, there's bodywork being ripped off. The Porsche is utterly destroyed, and Laurin Heinrich is a lucky man that he was in such a strong car. You can see the amount of debris on the road. This is the view from onboard number 4 coming into what looks like a war zone with bodywork everywhere, with wheels bouncing, and Laurin Heinrich having to hope that just sort of gravity stopped the car from getting to the chicane, because by that stage there was nothing to do on a brake pedal.
Is over calling the strategy for them here. The connection is that some of the 2C's management used to work at Bentley. Thomas Blum worked for K-Pax, which ran the Bentley, right. So they have that relationship there. And when this program came together to run this long-distance race, Thomas, who is an absolute master when it comes to tactics, was an easy call. And I saw him earlier today. He was excited to see if he could help strategize this car to the front.
You need a Venn diagram of all this, don't you, to see how it all fits. Now, look at this battle. Matt Campbell has got himself up past Rene Rast, all around him. Mercedes up the inside, and bang, and he just gets turned around and almost shoveled into the gravel. Whisper it by the CrowdStrike-backed Mercedes.
With Mr. CrowdStrike driving.
Yes, George Kurtz at the wheel of it. This is how George Kurtz saw it. Gap on the inside. Full course yellow called.
Now, that is a setback any way you look at it for the 4 car. They had gotten back on the lead lap. I had speculated that they might have with the wave around, so that had worked in their favor, but I have a feeling that this is not going to be looked upon charitably.
No, just because you're the sponsor doesn't mean you're above the law and all of that. Full course yellow is called for to try and get Antares Au's car quickly out of the gravel. Has that got some damage? That Audi at the back looks like a wing end plate might have been slightly distorted there. There in the gravel trap is Antares Au's Porsche. Ideally, it just wants picking up, plonking on the tarmac, and away it can go on that escape road that runs behind the gravel bed. So hopefully this won't be a long full course yellow, but there's more drama there. Number 70 Ferrari, look, has gone into the back of traffic, and that is Custodio Toledo, and he's clearly hit somebody who's slowed under the full course yellow and has got big damage. So now we're heading to a much longer full course yellow period, because there's not one to sort out, there's probably 2. Custodio Toledo trying to get going, but there's damage on the front of that car.
And I think we found who we ran into.
Yes.
One of the come-to-you Astons. That doesn't really narrow it down.
270.
Car in 55th. That's Leroy.
Right.
The wheel.
So Alexandre Leroy up from GT2 with the air brake at the back of it. So that's coming into the pits, I should imagine, to get that sorted out. Right, so all of this happens because a full course yellow is called, and some slow better than others, and there's the impact. Toledo right into the back of the Aston, but that was coming into Les Combes. I thought he got as far as Bruxelles before the car was turned around. Maybe I was, oh yeah, he goes up the escape road. There is the driver of number 11 safe out of the car, but that is a very broken Aston Martin. The driver in question is Frédéric Jousset, and that's another Aston Martin that has come to grief at the top of Radiant. That's out of the race.
And it's another come-to-you racing Aston Martin as well. We've obviously lost a Valkenhorst car in the Super Pole, and it's just these cars. Remember, this is a team and the car that took victory last year. Has he been helped here? He's a little bit offline.
Definitely,
wow.
Definitely helped. Tim Sandler was the Mercedes driver behind him. Yeah, that's going to go down badly in race control, isn't it?
I mean, it was so very, very close. Anything that the Aston Martin did would be very difficult to react to. But I just wonder whether, you know, the Aston Martin's lifting there and the Mercedes is not. 911 was retired. It is now back out on the circuit.
Okay.
And it is penultimate runner. We are waiting for a couple of cars to catch the back of the train.
Yeah, pit lane was blocked with the car expiring. That looks mechanical. Yeah, very mechanical. Massive cloud of smoke out of the back. It looks like it's the end of the race, never mind mechanical. I was thinking he's coasted in with a bit of smoke, but now I've seen the amount of smoke.
Hopefully it's not dropped too much oil either, because that could cause an issue for some drivers coming up to it. I don't think he was Ooh.
like a Codis ASP did back in 22, when they kept Timo Boguslavski out for the first 12 hours or so. Now, Marco Wittmann in 31 BMW has got ahead of the sister car of 32. So Wittmann in the Dries Van Voort car, if you like, has got ahead of Hugo de Wilde in number 32.
For full darkness, we had the fake illumination from all the amazing fireworks show. But still, at Spa-Francorchamps, at certain points on the circuit, is properly dark. Of course, the headlights on these cars. Oh, Regal's car is going. It seems to be steaming a little bit. And Davide, so much success in single-seaters. But right now, that number 12 Ferrari can't see if there's any damage. Now, the Scottish driver pressing on down the hill through the left-hander, recently renamed the Jackie X curve. And then he'll be going down to Pouhon. So he's halfway around the lap. But this could be very good news for VSR and Lamborghini.
Just saw a sketchy moment there as Thierry Vermeulen dropped an overall position to Alessio Rivera, and that fast recovering number 51 Ferrari able to muscle his way by, I believe. We just got a glimpse of it coming up the hill, and he is through. I think that also cost Vermeulen a place to Finn Wiebelhaus.
But drive-through penalty will sort them out. They're way down the order anyhow, down in 59th position after earlier setbacks, 9 laps down overall, and we've got a McLaren off the circuit driving around the back of the gravel trap. There's a little access road. That looks it's at Bruxelles. Yeah, it's the downhill. So probably got it wrong going out of the second part of Les Combes. It looks like the front splitter might be hanging down. That could easily happen after a run through the gravel. Car number 20, is it 23? So I thought it was a. It is. It's the Team RJN McLaren. I suddenly lost my number system for a second, but going slowly now. Just rejoining the circuit, and of course, it's on the motorbike stretch of the circuit, which is the inside of the Jackie X curve. But of course, that'll be scattering gravel. But hopefully, by the time it rejoins the circuit, now on the run down to Pouhon, well, that shed position, it's shedding a little bit of gravel. Fabian Schiller, this is. Hold on. Do not lead this race, anybody. You will hit trouble. Or don't be in the top 3 because we're suddenly starting to fall. Lucas Stoltz, Jules Grunot, Fabian Schiller had not put a wheel wrong until they did whatever they did to get the drive-through penalty. I can't remember. No, there was contact
yeah.
with the 991 BMW. And maybe this problem is a result of that contact. Something may have gradually been weakened and gradually got to the point it's failing. But that is a Mercedes going nowhere at all. So wherever you're watching on the world, this is a magical time. But particularly if you're a fan of Lamborghinis, you're particularly enjoying it because your car, the remaining one in the thick of the battle, is leading the race. And talk about battling.
Hasn't debated the battle at all for the lead in the Gold Cup. Here's the Corvette stopped dead stick and not showing any signs of life. As I say that, the lights come back on, so maybe hoping that the electrical reset, the proverbial Control-Alt-Delete, will get the job done. But race control does not like where that car is because we go full course yellow once again. Half stint that they're trying to compensate for, it's really only about 12 minutes. And you can claw that back slowly. Now, again, things have to fall the right way for this to happen. But, you know, in theory, the time spent in the pit lane doesn't count towards stint time. So you're going to inch a little bit closer to where you want to be with each subsequent pit stop.
Just had a change in the gold class. Thierry Vermeulen, bear in mind he's done a lot longer in the car. Will have less time to give in this race. He's just taken the lead from Adam Smalley, fighting over 11th place. Okay, here's a replay. Going into the bus stop and the nose. There was more contact than we could see from because we had the long shot taken from La Source looking down. And I think I looked up at this point when they were side by side. Couldn't tell if they'd touched, but that the contact was enough from Mauro Engel's Mercedes to lift the Mustang off the ground. And front right corner looks so that bore the brunt. That was the angle we'd seen before. It didn't look too much. No wonder the power couldn't be put down by the Mustang driver. So front suspension damage, I think we'll put on that one.
Yeah, you could already see that car listing as it turned in that final left-hander there.
Jamie Day at the wheel of it, and we're going to surely end up with a yellow here.
Is that Day done? Has he got there by himself? Oh, yeah. That's some kind of failure for me. The cars there only need a slight lift off the throttle to get in, and the way that rotated so quickly, all the tyres look inflated, so it wasn't an obvious blowout there, but just the rotation of the car to me didn't look like driver error was my first thought.
On a big race like this, to get carried away and do something maybe a little silly, but he's got a good run here, and
Anxious trying to go one side of the traffic. Max Hesser on the outside into Blanchimont. He's got his nose in front. This is brave, brave, brave around the outside line, and he's done it. Fantastic move.
nice.
You can breathe. You can breathe.
Yeah.
He knows you're watching, because to go around the outside of Blanchimont that's a big move, isn't it? I feel he did really well there. He almost squeezed Enxler on the way in and just asked the question, Enxler, are we going to have a massive crash or not? And yeah, an amazing
I'm
move
telling
there.
him to stay safe, and he clearly can't hear me. So
He knows you're watching, I think, it's his time to shine. How is the BMW inside the cockpit temperature-wise? Is it good AC unit, airflow, drinks, all of that?
it's very good. It is. We're quite lucky, let's say. Last weekend in Watkins, it was 30+ degrees, to be fair, and there it didn't seem to do much favors. But no, to be honest, during the night it's even too cold, and we're turning it off.
Wow.
But now for sure we'll be back with the AC, and it's good.
You picked the right place to come and watch, haven't you, for 10, 15 minutes or so. Would you normally be doing this in the garage? Would you sit and watch the TV pictures, or would you go off and sort of try and get your own headspace?
To be honest, I try to stay away from it as much as you can, but to be honest, when you're going strongly, then it's very difficult to not be watching.
Yeah, sure.
We have it on in the driver's truck area. We have a TV, so we just have the live stream going since the race start, and yeah, just keeping an eye on it, and yeah, it's important to sort of keep in touch with what's going on and stuff like that.
When are you back in the car?
So I think Philip will be in next for a double, but of course it can, for example, now like Max is now sort of on his third stint. Depending on safety cars, it can change.
Yeah.
But Philip will go in for a double, and then me for a double, and then Max for the finish.
Okay, right. We better let you
That's
go
the
and
plan,
have
but it can always change.
You never know. We'll let you go and have some more breakfast and get ready.
Yes.
Or indeed watch the pictures.
Thank you very much.
Actually, before you do go, don't go away just yet.
At the moment, they've done both dirty.
Now, just also to tidy up, number 21, remember Jamie Day spun into the gravel, the most recent cause of a caution, as round the outside there goes 51, so Pierre Guidi is going to go 6th. He does it at the expense of Benji Curter. Nicely done. Ferrari gains back one of its places. That Aston Martin, Jamie Day's car, retired from the race, so it was more than just a spin. There had to be something that threw it off the road.
I'm glad about that, because I put my neck on the line there without anything obvious, but interesting to see what it was. But Maranello versus Woking there, and the Italian checking away from Surrey.
Let's talk tyres for a moment. They're all on Pirelli rubber, as we know. Matteo Braga of Pirelli is in the pits for us.
A very good morning to you, Matteo. It is a hive of activity here for one of the most toughest circuits in the world on tyres. How many tyres have we got this weekend?
This weekend we bought quite a lot of tyres, considering GT3, GT4, the GT2 and the McLaren Trophy. We have around 18,000 pieces on the field.
18,000, my word. How many workers have you got here?
The whole team is about 140 people. Obviously we have fitters, engineers, marketing, all the different functions are there. They kept going all the night. The job was very fluid, so I think we delivered a very good service to the team.
So how do the teams go about ordering their tyres?
Usually they come down from the pits. They do the pit stop, they clean the wheels, they put them on the trolleys, they come down. At the entrance of the service area there is a check-in area where they place the order. It comes to the start of the fitting area, so the guys, they already know what they want to fit. They get the tires ready. As soon as they get the used tires, they can swap them. And then they can follow on the channel on the TV. They can follow from the box when the set is ready, and when it's ready they can come down to pick it up.
So a total of 18,000 tyres you bought here this weekend for all of the championship?
Yeah, all of the champ.
That's insane. And so when it comes to Spa, like, while we have seen a lot of punctures, we're actually not seeing as many as compared to some other circuits. what is the most abrasive part of the circuit? What do you find out when you analyze the tires when they come back?
I say that during the race, but also on the session before the race, we were analyzing all the tires that have completed one stint of a race.
And a slowing Ziggo Sport Ferrari. This car has been running pretty trouble-free, but not any longer. Listening. Engine was running.
The revs of the engine aren't matching the motion of the forward propulsion, is it? So there's something, there's a drive shaft or something. Eddie Cheever aboard, he's been in the car for less than 4 minutes, so very early on into his stint. And yellow flag here. This could really shake it up for some of the cars around their pit stops.
You can see the amount of rubber junked on the road, but the racetrack is getting dirty again and it's catching people out, and punctures are a further issue that some of the teams are going to be looking at.
This forces the teams to go as long as they can. Again, trying to get lucky in the full course yellow. The Retronic team ready at short notice. They are fully geared up. They will be ready to go. The engineer will call the tyres. The tyres will get drawn to the front of the garage as quickly as they can, right at the last second as well. But we're talking about track temp. The punches seem to be coming in thick and fast in the last hour.
Is the drink bottle empty? What can they do? The fuel is going to go in. And as soon as that hose pulls out, the car will drop down, it will blast away. 44 seconds counting. Down it drops. And it's slow to get away. It's slow, it's slow, it's slow. Mirko Bortolotti's not moving. What's gone wrong? What's gone wrong? Patrick Niederhauser is on his way. Now Bortolotti blasts away. But how many seconds were lost there? 3, 4, maybe 5. He's moving, but that's a scare they could have done without.
Can't write it, can you? It just didn't turn over. You could hear it go and then just die. The mechanics didn't know what to do. Amazed there wasn't a jump battery ready. It wasn't needed in the end. But that last stop, not to plan. Is that enough? I don't think it will be. It will bring it closer.
Yeah.
The gap was roughly 5 seconds, but I think Niederhauser's had a bad job. The mechanics doing a great job there. There's a huge amount of smoke as well as he pulled away. I think it was just dust and general detritus, but is that Lamborghini okay?
Right, Niederhauser's last pit stop was 2 minutes 0.7. Bortolotti is about to get to pit out. He should keep the lead as up towards La Source comes Niederhauser. So 2 minutes 0.7 for the Porsche, and it's 2 minutes 2, 2 minutes 3, 2 minutes 4, 2 minutes 5, 2 minutes 6 for the Lamborghini, 2 minutes 7.6. So he's lost 6.9 seconds.
Yeah, there's the gap. Niederhauser flying through. He's going to have the speed that lost him the position to Van der Linde at the start. Is it going to be enough? This is going to be closer than it looks by the end of the straight. My prediction, 2 seconds. They're happy because they've still got the lead.
But the BMW is already up to speed. Pierre Guidi goes defensive onto the grass, goes Marciello. Pierre Guidi doesn't want to give up the place. That was very robust indeed by Alessandro Pierre Guidi, almost bordering on the dangerous.
Yeah, the space was left there. Then he decided, I don't want it left, and then he moved around.
Because he stopped. The Gold Cup leader has stopped out on the circuit. It's got a puncture, has it? Or did the wheel come off altogether? Look at the right rear corner. Dean McDonald gets going, but he's got to limp back to the pit lane, and all of a sudden the Gold Cup is turned on its head. Dean McDonald has got a puncture. He's limping just about offline. He's got to try to get back to the pit lane. He's cleared the corner. He's going to get from one side of the racetrack to the other. This is the new Gold Cup leading car. Thierry Vermeulen, with 7 3/4 minutes to go, has now hit the front, and the McLaren has hit problems. Bortolotti was runner-up in 2021. He was 3/10 back when they came across the line, which is perhaps the worst way to lose. But this year he is going to win, seemingly, unless there is a drama on the final 7 kilometres. I don't think it's going to get away from him. Up through Radion they come, and this year it has been a record attendance of 128,000 people over the weekend of the event. A record crowd at the 24 Hours of Spa, backed again by CrowdStrike through George Kurtz, and we've had over 2.5 million watching on the various YouTube streams as well. So thank you all of you for your company, and if you're watching this back when you've got home, thanks for being here.
Exactly, that's the best way to do it. Be here in the crowd, and then watch it again on all the streaming services.
Lamborghini last year became the 17th different marque to have claimed pole position, and look now as though a first race win is going to go their way. Down towards Pouhon for the last time comes Mirko Bortolotti. traffic up the road, he may not have to worry too much about those cars. But equally, he doesn't want to back off just in case he should back off too much. But I don't think Patrick Niederhauser is going to get close enough. And then third, unfortunately, he's going to have that question mark over it because it's going to be Raffaele Marciello on the road from Alessandro Pierguidi. But the Ferrari should inherit it, given the time penalty has to be applied because it's not been served in the pits.
Yeah, looks nailed on to me. So it's going to be a Lambo, Porsche, and then a Ferrari podium. What a great mix.
It is indeed, and a first podium for Lamborghini, a first win for Lamborghini, a first win in the event for Luca Engschler, for Jordan Pepper, and for Mirko Bortolotti. The 77th CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa has been an absolute scorcher in terms of the weather and on track as well. The checkered flag is going to be shown out of the chicane. There'll be a ceremonial one round La Source, and it's going to be shown to Mirko Bortolotti, to Jordan Pepper, to Luca Engschler, who win the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. Mirko Bortolotti celebrates. The Grasser Racing team goes berserk.
Yeah, and Niederhauser happy too, and fair play to them. That is so much work. That's more than 24 hours. And you can see Niederhauser going over to say well done. And the gold class winner, Vermeulen there in the Verstappen.com Aston Martin 2.
A great effort, and for Lamborghini, for the Grasser Racing team, a great effort. You've seen the Verstappen.com Aston Martin come home then as the category winning car in gold. In glorious conditions. You wouldn't think, would you, that this has been a racetrack for 24 frantic hours, as now everything goes quiet and the grandstands start to empty, while the atmosphere heads down towards the bottom of Eau Rouge, and winning drivers make their way to the podium. Checkered flag shown then as Mirko Bortolotti, Luca Engschler and Jordan Pepper win by 8.7 seconds in the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa from Sven Müller, Patrick Niederhauser and Alessio Picariello. Alessio Rivera third with Vincent Abril and Alessandro Pierguidi, Alessio Dono, Antonio Fuoco and Arthur Leclerc taking fourth ahead of Augusto Farfus, Jesse Krohn and Raffaele Marciello with that penalty. And in sixth place, Joseph Loke along with Marvin Kirchhofer and Benji Goethe. Good effort for Garage 59 ahead of the WRT, BMW, Hugo de Wilde, Charles Weerts, Kelvin van der Linde. 8th, Dries van Voor, Sheldon van der Linde, Marco Wittmann from Thierry Vermeulen, Chris Lallam and Harry King, who won gold, and Mauro Engel, Matteo Cairoli and Lucas Auer finishing 10th. Winning silvers were 14th, Romain Leroux, Oliver Söderström, Mathieu Villagomez. Winning bronze, 1 place back, Dustin Blattner, Zach Robertson, Conrad Larsen and Dennis Marshall. And a little bit further down, you would go to 31st to find the Pro-Am winners. Noah Abramczyk, Mathieu Dietrich, Fabian Duftier and Bob Yuan. And 46 classified as finishers at the end, with Pro victory to Lamborghini, to the Grasser Racing team. And one driver missing from the podium, we understand, is going to be Harry King, who has had a quick trip to the medical centre for rehydration. He's just sent a photograph of himself to me from the local service to explain he won't be on the podium, but he's all right now. He got some liquids in him, so well done, Harry. It was quite an effort, and I think a lot of drivers have gone through the mill in these really hot conditions this afternoon, but a great result in gold. And in Pro as well, Mirko Bortolotti, as you saw when he got out of the car, feeling the effects of the heat. Quick another look at our class winners. Harry King with Chris Lallam and Thierry Vermeulen then coming out on top in the Gold Cup. And there, another look at our 3 winning drivers outright for the GRT Grasser Racing team. The results scrolling through. The last car home in 46th was the Caterham Motor Federation Santaloc Audi, and you see that long list of non-finishers. Just to tidy up silver, second was that number 26 Audi that did have a puncture late race. And we've also got in that long list of retirements the likes of the Sigo Tempesta Ferrari, sad to say, the Ford Mustang of Tom Adrue, the VSR Lamborghinis. Look at our Pro-Am victors there. The first car that we lost was the number 112 McLaren after that big accident yesterday evening when Josh Mason was crawling back on the racing line, and Laurin Heinrich was the first one that was completely unsighted with a car crawling along in an awkward place. We also lost the Matt Campbell, Bastien Boost, Mathieu Jaminet Porsche, and so many hard luck stories. Team's trophy for Grasser Racing Team and the historic Spa 24 Hours Drivers Winning Trophy. There they are. Luca Enschler, Mirko Bortolotti, Jordan Pepper win the 2025 CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. The flares go. The champagne is ready. And trophies put to one side as the celebrations begin, and deservedly so for the Grasser Racing Team. History is made. Lamborghini's first podium, Lamborghini's first win, a first win in the event for Mirko Bortolotti, Luca Enschler and Jordan Pepper. And boy, did they work for that.